Parents are constantly trying to teach reading backwards. Something that I see all the time is parents focusing heavily on memorization before foundational reading skills are actually solid. This creates much bigger reading struggles later on. And I get why. For the last about 3 generations, we have taught reading with a whole language approach. That means this word says what it says because that's what it says. Parents were taught when they were younger to memorize everything, to use flashcards, sight word memorization, repetitive books. I mean, your standard for several generations was Dick and Jane, see Jane run. None of those phonics concepts flow together at all. They're all completely different. And they're all on completely different levels too. Reading is much deeper than memorizing words. Strong reading instruction starts with foundational skills like phonemic awareness, letter sounds, blending, segmenting, and decoding. Kids need to understand how words work so they can eventually read unfamiliar words independently. We do not want to teach reading with mom, what's this word? Mom, what's this word? Mom, what's this word? Because there are just too many words in the English language to memorize one by one. However, your phonics is going to repeat over and over and over in almost every single word. I could not even tell you how many assessments I get on where the parent gets very frustrated with the child for not knowing what the word says, for not knowing what it is just based on sight. I have lost count of how many parents I have had to tell, I need you to leave the room so I can conduct this assessment properly, because yelling at your child does not make them know the word. Getting frustrated with them does not teach them how to read. Threatening to take away their iPad and their games and we're not going to go to the pool and we're not going to fill in the blank does not make them learn better. If you as a parent do not know phonics, then you cannot teach your child how to read until you do. If your child is a struggling reader, it does not mean that they are not bright. Parents are trying incredibly hard to help their kids, but many were never taught how reading development actually works themselves, and that's why I think parent education around literacy is so important. When families understand the progression of reading development, it becomes much easier to identify what skill a child truly needs next. Follow for homeschool and literacy support, and if you want structured reading support for your child, enrollment for our reading programs is currently open through the link in my profile. I generally suggest we start with an assessment first so we know exactly where they need support and which grade level we should put them in. Almost none of my new students who come into a program are reading at the level that they are in school. Most are significantly behind. However, I do have some reading above level. Therefore, we just want to place them in a course that actually makes sense for them, that is actually going to help them.